Before we get started, please take the time to like, add, and subscribe to our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes. Also, please leave us a review.
He says this, right? But every time he makes the trip out here and from here back, he takes the time out of his drive to video him driving through Wallace, Idaho, historic Wallace. Every time.
We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility? Clink. How we doing?
Fandiddly-tastic, as that. Isn't that the guy from The Simpsons that says that? Fandiddly-tastic.
Oh, what is it? The neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't watch The Simpsons enough to.
I do,
and you're blanking on his name. That's a little embarrassing.
Because we're live. That's why. Because we're live from our houses, our respective humble abodes where we live.
What was it? James last week, he thought I was in Billings recording. And I was
really?
Yeah, he's like, when I was talking to him before, I was like, yeah, I've only ever been out to Billings like 4 times. And he's like, wait, you're not in Billings? And I go, no, I'm in Oregon, man.
That's good. That was a great interview. I was glad to get you to talk bikes. I know you talk a lot about bikes out here and just getting outdoors and exactly doing something that you hear a lot of hikers say they want to do the PCT, they want to do the Continental Divide Trail. And my boy James, he's out there chugging along on his bike trying to do the Continental Trail and getting about like he said, a third of the way and just saying fuck this.
He said they got to like Montana, the end of Montana.
Yeah, or just right into Idaho or something. But still, that's just wild when you look at
Banff, yeah,
Well, it's the zigzaggy up there. I think when you get further south, it starts to like even out. But I know you're in training mode for that now. No, I'm just kidding. That's about 5 years.
Not the bike one. Not the bike one.
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, maybe. Never know. That's a future thing to talk about. If you're curious, just check out Unathletic Trainer.
Right? There you go. I don't. No, I'm just kidding. I try to. I just don't have the time for you in my life. This is my time for you in my life.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't think you would enjoy the content on there either.
It's good. I mean, I read the first few, I think. I remember like when they first came out, I checked it out.
Yeah.
I shared you on Facebook or something once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not like it's wild, I ran into a high school friend today and we just like talked forever, but it's just like when you talk and like you talk about like your life and like what's been going on and what you're doing, and it's just like holy shit, like this is wild, this is crazy. What am I going to do with my life? This roller coaster. It's just a roller coaster. You got shit, you got family shit, you got personal shit, you got your hobbies, you got all that. But the one thing we all have is nature. And that's why we're here on the Wandering Ways podcast. So
we can get you all out in nature to enjoy it.
What's nice is you can download this podcast so you can be in the park on a hike listening. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's what we should do actually. Maybe as we do like an informational podcast, and just at the beginning we just be like, make sure to download this episode before you go into Yellowstone, and we will share some facts while you're driving the wonderful roads of Yellowstone.
Low key, we could do that. We could get into the park when we do go to these parks and just like do an informational tour, like starting in Gardner here. You look off to the left, first off into the park, you will see the Boiling River. It's closed probably because white tourists fucked it up, but let's be real.
For sure. Speaking of getting into parks and stuff, permits are becoming more and more popular. What is I think you just sent me today the Columbia Gorge little scenic highway, which is, if it's the interstate, the highway's like right next to it. They're having a timed permit system to reduce congestion and all of that fun stuff.
Wasn't not that one, but Multnomah Falls was also there too, huh?
Well,
The
Multnomah
park.
Falls, it's that road that like if you go, there's that road you cross to actually
Yeah.
get to it after you've parked and you go under the bridge type thing. Then
Yeah,
there's
the
an
little
actual
highway.
road. It's literally that road that has the timed entry now.
Oh wow.
Because if you do that road, there's actually a lot of different waterfalls along that whole road that you can go and check out. It's really actually pretty. I think I did it actually with Matt. Um,
The Map Buddy.
yeah, Matt Buddy. I can't remember why we did it though, because it
Didn't
was
you guys go
fairly recent, if I
you went on a
remember.
hike up above the gorge with him
Oh,
to
that's
Angel's
when we did it.
Rest?
That's when we did it. Him and I went and we checked out the gorge, and that's when we did that road.
Nice. No, that's dope. That's cool. That's cool, man. Like I haven't done that in a long time. If I have done it, it was when I was a child. I have checked out Multnomah Falls. I mean, you do see some of the waterfalls from the interstate there, but you know what's shitty is for me that part of my drive became I need to bust it out and get home or get to my parents because you're on hour 11, hour 12 of driving sometimes when you're in that spot.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting. Because I think about that. I think about that here in Montana, kind of what I take for granted as like, fuck, I want to go 85, 90 miles on the interstate and blow by the scenery and get to my destination.
He says
Whereas,
this, everybody, he says this, right? But every time he makes the trip out here and from here back, he takes the time out of his drive to video him driving through Wallace, Idaho, historic Wallace. Every time.
does it bug you?
No, I just think it's absolutely pointless.
Wallace is at the half. It's about the halfway point from Billings to Portland. It's kind of one of those points where uh, you get a little bit of cell service in between the Montana Pass and that 4th of July pass. So just kind of letting people know we're alive, we made it through. And to let the good fans know that historic Wallace is still fucking thriving. And you
Yeah.
need to stop in and help them. They literally built the interstate over that town. They said, we're just going to build over your buildings. Like, you used to take the highway through that town. No, we're going to build over you. I actually know a girl whose parents moved there.
They chose to move there. Huh?
Yeah, from Big Twig, Big Timber, Montana.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's wild, but you know, there's no permits in Wallace, and one of my favorite attractions, one of my sideshow attractions off the side of the interstate is Elmer's Fountain.
Elmer's
Yeah,
Fountain. Oh, I think
yeah,
I've seen you take videos or something of this.
yeah. It's just the guy he built a fountain on the side of the road up in Idaho there, and it's Elmer's Fountain. It's a fountain.
I mean, everyone's got something, right?
No permit needed.
Yeah. No permit needed because the congestion is not too bad. Not too bad
No,
at all.
no. Well, it's starting to get bad because all you Californians are moving here to Montana. So go back.
Yeah. And people are just moving.
They
Um,
really are.
no, but going farther into the permits, I saw something interesting. And I'm gonna share it with you. And
Ooh.
we're big fans of the permit system here at the Wandering Ways.
Oh, we are? You're speaking for both of us now, huh?
Yeah, I am. Mainly because I think we saw what is it? Or we talk about Angels Landing all the time needing a permit. Anyways, the video I'm showing, there's big long a bunch of words on there talking about how this is the downside of it, in that in Yosemite, that the permit system isn't doing anything to really slow or reduce the amount of congestion in the park. It's just limiting the amount of people that can go into the park.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's one of those, the thing is, right, is this video, and while it may be true, right, that it is reducing it, it doesn't, there's so many things that could stop a traffic like that in these parks.
Well, and yeah, well put. They, I agree with you, because to me, it's like the permit system isn't necessarily a traffic system. It's just saying we're going to allow cars into the park at this time. And then like you're at the 10:30 wave. Okay, well maybe you have to wait like that. Maybe there's two lines of traffic where it's like, this is the 10:30 line, this is the 10 o'clock line, and it lets you in. You go, you show your pass. Just be respectful, be cautious of this plan. I think when you're going to the parks, because like just know that like for example, we're going to Glacier this summer. Okay, here's my thought. Well, June, or not June, it will be July. July 5th is the day we will get to the park. Okay, if we do anything that day, I think we will do a hike in the national forest that, you know what, guess what? It borders the national park. So it's probably just as good, if not better, because less people are there. And we'll probably do a hike like that. Then on the 6th, we'll either wake up real goddamn early because I said so, or we'll get in, we'll get into the park at a reasonable time and show them our chalet pass, because we bought a chalet pass for the July 6th, and say, hey, we can go up the Going to Sun Road. We're going to go up the Going to Sun Road with our respectful reservation. We're going to be respectful. We're going to be courteous of what we do. We're going to look for the shuttle system that most national parks provide, and get on that and enjoy, our trip and figure out what we're going to do. Come back from our hike, get out of the park, and go do something else another day, because we respect the system.
100%. Yeah, no, it doesn't. And to go back to that like video, like if you've been to Yosemite, I mean, it's not car friendly to begin with. So it doesn't really take a whole lot of like cars to get like that.
Well, take Zion. It's just a canyon.
Yeah, and Yosemite's similar. They just let cars go, and it's one road, and you loop, and it very, very easily can get backed up like real quick.
Oh, I believe, you get a bear in there. Oh, people are gonna slam on their brakes and wait and take their time to get their photos because they saw a bear in the wild. But really, is it wild at that point? No, it's crazy, and maybe we can have that discussion later, about what a wild bear is, especially in some of those parks, because people, they are being photographed 150 times a day. It's interesting. The permit system is interesting. It's definitely changing. It makes me, as a native person, kind of hurt, because the land before the permit system, I think, was a lot better to see and a lot better to look at.
Yeah.
I mean, not like
cons. More people are going out to these parks, which is awesome, but with more people, you have more dill heads. So,
and for me, I guess part of it too is I wish I would be able to see it back before, in the 1700s, 1600s.
So I was kind of thinking of getting into sport fishing again, but I feel like I need a good quality net.
Well, you know what, Reverend? I got the key solution for you. Our friends at Blue Ribbon Net make this eco-friendly aquafade bag, so you're not hurting the environment. It's 100% biodegradable. Plus, the wood is locally sourced and it is also biodegradable. And it's just such a great company to use. The Blue Ribbon Nets, they're here in Bozeman, Montana. And we even have a discount code. That's right. If you use the code Rougarou10, that's right. That's my Jeep, the Rougarou. Rougarou10, Rugaru10. You're going to get some discount on a Blue Ribbon net. You can get the long one if you're fishing the big fish, or you can get just the good river one, if you're like me and just want to catch a lot of fish.
So again, make sure you go check out Blue Ribbon and use the promo code Rougarou10.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
Yeah, it would be nice to that's always it would always be nice to see it with less people. And when you have less people, that means you don't need a permit system. So yeah, it would really, I do get that, but I don't, the other side of me at it, and this is just the me trying to find a positive out of the fact that we have these permit systems now, is it is kind of a way for parks to get a little bit more money, which is nice.
That is nice because they are, in a sense, underfunded. And, I really want to give my hats off to Secretary Deb Haaland and what she's done for our parks in her first first year really being on the job and just doing great things everywhere for both Indian country and for our parks, because we are underfunded. They do have to do these things to help, generate some revenue. And when you really think of the cost for these things, they're a reasonable cost. It's the private companies that jack the price up on things when you really look at it, because the campground is $12 a night. It's not bad at all.
No.
I think what did I say, for you, me, Tyler, Matt, just to get a private campground outside of Glacier Park, I think was like $40-$50 between, I think it was $12 each or whatever we chipped in.
Yeah, something like that.
So it was just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
These parks, they're doing the best they can. There was when I was working at the BLM, there was a lady who was ranting about the price, and people always complaining about, oh, there's a fee at this park. Well, I have this pass, it should let me into this park. Well, it's like, well, this is a BLM park, so no, we don't take that pass. Or
yeah,
just different things like that. And she's like, well, my tax dollars, this and that. And it's just like, the lady, she responded, is like, in reality, when you look at what your tax dollars go to, maybe 10 cents of your true taxes, your income tax or whatever, come to the national parks.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, so that's a nice little pro, is that the parks can get some money, some more well-deserved money to keep the things in the park, the things that are important, like the roads, campgrounds, visitor centers, those kind of things going. So that way, when we do visit them, one, we can we'll have things that are working nice. We can be educated because we have good visitor centers with good info. Our park rangers that are keeping us safe, they're getting well paid. So it's nice. It can be a nice thing to have that. So while it's a bummer, I think it's important. And I think the permit system, I'm a big fan of it. So
Yeah, I still think I mean what sucks is like again, I said like as a Native American, like we should have a right to these kind of homelands in a way. Like some of them are spiritual homelands to some of us. So when you do a permit system, I want the parks, I want the government organizations to consider those tribal entities because like, you know, I look at like the elders, that are going to go say, hey, I do want to pray today. I do want to do a spiritual quest, a medicine bundle, give an offering. And it's like they're not going to do the research to see if the Going to Sun Road is open, but
yeah,
definitely they should be allowed on it, I think. That's just my personal
for
with their
sure.
land. There's this I'm going to run it by you right here on the podcast, see if we get any feedback, because you can always email us at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. WANDERINGWAYSPODCAST@gmail.com. And the idea I want to run by you is I want to do a national park series for the Shop LS574. Okay. And the national park series is going to be the national park signs. And it's going to be like Glacier National Park, stolen 1912.
That is funny. I mean, I'm sure you would get some hits on it for sure. But that is a funny way to do that.
Right? Just like, the Blackfeet were living here, but it's ours now.
Yeah. That's really funny. That is the not cool shit side of things. There are plenty of other cool shit out there. And speaking of cool shit, it's time for cool shit in nature. And so I've got two lined up for you today, as per usual.
Two, I know you always say like I got two. Like normally I have one, but like I think you've had one maybe like twice ever.
I think at the beginning it was like always one, and then I had this huge stockpile of them, and I was like, I had to burn through them. I need to, I need to start doing two, otherwise I'm gonna be like so far ahead in these that I just don't. But anyways, this is the effects of an underwater volcano eruption. So it was this. It's really kind of a weird because it's like all ashy water.
Oh,
And it
weird.
creates kind of like a pumice for the sand, and so it's a cool thing to look at because it's kind of eerie.
It makes sense though, because it's just that like, where's the ash from under? It's got to come from like it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, right. So I mean, it makes sense why we have this. It's just something you don't really necessarily think about.
So it must harden and become part of the land over time.
Yeah, and that's what the pumice rock is. It's like volcanic water or volcanic rock. So, no, I thought this was a cool one. It's pretty neat. Anyways, here's the second one. I really wanted to show you this one. I think we've shown this one actually before.
Oh, where the park ranger shoots him?
No, the park ranger does not shoot the bear. For people watching, it is a bear charging a park ranger.
That looks like the same one. One of these park rangers gets charged and he shoots the bear with a beanbag or like a rubber bullet.
I think it is this one. We just don't watch all of it.
It looks like the same kind of guy in the bear.
But yeah, it actually could be this one.
No, I mean, he's running right there, but like, to me it looks like that bear is stressed the fuck out that look at all these cars zooming in and out of there, Florida license plate up.
Well, what I wanted to point out about it is if you look at the front right or front left paw, so the one he's on our right, like he's charging and he's not touching the ground at all with that.
Yeah, he's ready to swat.
I think it's more because he's barely touching it even when he's standing by no one. Like I think he's hurt and that's why he's stressed out.
Yeah, oh, that could be. Yeah, you're pointing something out because he's running on those three legs there. Yeah, and he's kind of hiding, and then he's like, I gotta chase these guys off.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. I wonder though too if that's also an attack move. Like I'm gonna swat these guys. You know what I mean? Like I want to.
Yeah, but I think he'd be quick enough. He can go from running to, skibbity pap real quick.
Yeah, it's
So,
wild. I mean, it's definitely you can see the energy in the bear when he's kind of tucked away in the trees right there.
mhm.
But like you see this park ranger here, he's clearly yelling at down the line. He's yelling at some tourists because
Oh, for
he's
sure.
like, "Get off the road, back up, back,
Yeah,
and listen to the
stop.
park ranger
Yeah.
when you're in the park. Do it. Listen to them. They they know what they're doing."
This is why they need more funding. Just to circle it back here.
Honestly, though, you're not wrong. Whole circle. But no, he's saying, get back, get back. So you have the people that are stressing out the bear, and then you have him yelling, which is probably stressing him out even more. And the bear like reacts because
Yeah.
it's stressed. And me and you talked about this, and I really did appreciate that kind of discussion you and I have had. We've had, I mean, I appreciate it because it's one of those discussions me and you have had over the last 6-7 years or whatever since we started this whole ordeal, and with our grizzly bear encounter, our first grizzly bear encounter in Glacier there. Such a wild day. We're coming down Logan's Pass, and on the other hill off to the right, when you're coming down Logan's Pass, we see a dot, and it's a grizzly bear. And it really was, which is wild. This is so wild. And we're working our way down the mountain. And so is the dot. And the dot gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it comes closer and closer to like we're going. And eventually it crosses our path right in front of us as it's moving away. And I'm thinking there was a fire down by St. Mary's Lake down there. And I think that could have been what was pushing the bear. He looked like a young juvenile male, maybe 2-3 years old, year or two away from the mom, just in size. But the energy a lot different.
Yeah. Yeah, that bear was just doing his thing, He stopped, was what, digging holes for moths and bugs and stuff. And then he just was like, you know what? It's my time to go this way. And he went that way. And we were like, oh shit, everybody up the up the road.
It was wild. I mean, we got some cool pictures of it. It was really cool seeing the him cross the boardwalk like that. Just like, wow, that's the boardwalk we're on. People in front of us, jumping in front of us. If you want to see the video, you can see it on our YouTube page. I like some of the comments, like why would the park build that? And what like basically us being dumb. But it's like,
well, there's one was like not a single can of bear spray in sight, which in the video is true. You don't see any bear spray, but the gal, because that's when we had the couple coming up that were photographer. The one guy was a photographer, and we told them, hey, we think a bear's going to be coming down this way. Should probably check it out. And the guy burned his memory card on it. But the gal he was with, she had bear spray. And I remember her saying, like, do you guys have bear spray? And we were like, no, we left it in our car. And she goes, all right, well, I have it. So there was some there for whoever the commenter was. There was bear spray, just not in sight of the video.
no, it's wild because he was getting a little aggressive the closer and closer he got to the people. I think you could see that he was almost excited when he was up on that first hill, kind of like looking over, like, oh shit, there's something else over there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when he realized it was people, he's like, I don't want anything to do with these. They're just annoying. Because he moseyed on away. Like he didn't want to stay near. He moseyed on away.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you read the energy, you give the animal its respected distance. Like yes, we were within 100 yards of that bear, which is like the recommendation distance. We were probably 25 yards, 15 yards away from that bear.
Yeah.
Um, but the energy level was a lot different. We were allowing the bear to have space, give it space, do its thing. My favorite part of that encounter too is the chipmunk warning us, just chirping at us the whole time. You
Yeah,
know,
no, that was, I mean, we definitely were within the like the no zone that they say. But again, like, we did if the bear had the right of way, if the bear wanted to do something, the bear was going to do something. And we were like, all right, man. I mean, I'll head this way up. It wasn't like we were oblivious or anything.
well, and again, look at the video, right? Like you and I both kind of had that thought, I think at that time. I know I did for a fact where it's like, there's other people around me right now. I'm sure if the situation were to go awry, I can get out in front of these people and the bear will target one of them.
Oh, 100%,
And
100%. I'm every situation I get into, I do a quick scan and then go, I'm faster than at least one.
honestly, though, like in that situation, I felt like, if they're going to test the limit, I'm going to just be right behind. But
Yeah, you really shouldn't do that, but we did do that.
no, bears are fun, man. They're a good time. They're a great time. I hope we get to see some this summer. I think we will. And I'm heard it's been a good grizzly bear cub year in the park. So people are seeing them. Hayden, who helped build my roof rack, he was telling me about they just went into the park and saw some grizzly bear cubs. The other thing, what else did he say? Oh, he also said it's kind of interesting. It's a really popular Wolverine year in Montana. There's been like 3 Wolverines sighted like in random places.
Oh, interesting.
Like so, like the one in the park, there was 2 in Lewistown, just right in town.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and then in Billings here, right down by the school, they've spotted a mountain lion.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
That don't never fun to. Oh, you know what? It's speaking of cats. Speaking of cats, what are you more afraid of in the forest? A cougar or, and hear me out, ticks?
Oh, I feel you. Straight up where I live, fuck you, because there's a kid. I know a kid who got Lyme disease from a tick.
Right?
Um, especially because I had one in my hair. Like, I had one in my hair the other day because we went down to the river and like Thea was like, "What is that in your hair?" And like she got it out. I was like, "That's a fucking tick."
Yeah, I had one on me the other day too. That's
Um,
what made me think of it.
yeah, like you really can't see and know in ticks, and there's probably a lot more around. When it comes to a mountain lion, yeah, you may encounter 1 or 2, and I say encounter.
Yeah, right.
Yes, there's probably 300 that have seen you in your lifetime.
Oh, right.
Especially like some of the like I think of all the hikes I've done in Montana. I think of all the hikes you and I have done on our trips. I'm like, to take our Cracker Lake hike with Matt. I'm sure a bobcat and a cougar saw us on that hike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, straight up.
Yeah, I do too. I have no doubt that I've been spotted by a cougar multiple times. Um, ticks ticks scare the shit out of me though.
I was interested where you're gonna go because I was gonna say if you're going to grizzly bear,
No,
black
no.
bear, I was gonna be yeah, of course a cougar, man. But uh yeah.
Yeah, ticks are, and then like,
No bueno.
yeah, and then like if you see one and you pick it off, yeah, then like the whole rest of the time you're like thinking like, oh, there's probably one fucking on me.
Dude, I know. I had one bite me once. Because
Oh,
like it was
really?
like, yeah, it was in my hair. And I was like, this was a different one. And I was like, oh God, just like, oh shit. And I like grabbed it and I like it wouldn't like go at first, and I just ripped it off, and it like fell on the ground. I was like, oh my god, I just got bit by a tick. We have them bad out here in Montana.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of areas I think that I mean they're more than not. I don't know which ones all have Lyme. You're supposed to send them in if you get bit, get tested.
Oh well, I'm here, so we're good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people like die from Lyme disease, but it's just not
8.
fun to have.
No, I don't know. I don't know the number.
It's not fun to. It's not a fun time.
No, honestly, like low key, and this is good for you podcast listeners because my fiance Thea doesn't listen. She doesn't like when I talk about her friends, but but let's get some drama, some dirt. Let's get the tea. Her so the guy I know that got the Lyme disease, her good friend's husband. They got married real quick, I think, but they got married, and he got Lyme disease from a tick, and ended up divorcing her because basically he went bipolar from the Lyme disease.
Oh,
and had mood swings and all this shit, which is wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
Wild.
That is wild. I've got a good.
That one's never going to come back, but it lives out there forever.
I've got a good Lyme disease kind of story. It's a great story of why you shouldn't eat Taco Bell. One of the common things that can happen if you have Lyme disease is you can't eat red meat anymore.
Oh,
because how it interacts with your body when you eat it. So there's this guy. This guy has Lyme disease, and he was telling me anytime he has a red meat craving, like he just wants red meat, he actually goes to Taco Bell and gets a beef whatever at Taco Bell because it's so not meat quality, like real meat, that it doesn't affect his body like if he had a steak or a hamburger.
Wow, it does the trick. Sucks. No, you said something there how it affects him, and it just shot into my mind. We were talking to this army recruiter guy who got COVID, and he was telling me about how he had experienced long COVID, which if you're not familiar with that, it's like just having symptoms forever. And he said his taste, and he got it COVID back in November 2021. He says this is early May 2022. He said, I'm about 90% back to what I used to taste. He goes, I was a steak eater. And he goes, meat of any kind, just with that was just unappealing to me. Oh, and it was just like, and he's like, I hated it. He's like, I lost weight because he was a bodybuilder and shit too, kind of that way. And you're just like, fuck, man. Like,
yeah, that's what, like, when everyone was like, oh, I'm not afraid of COVID. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna die from COVID. I'm afraid of the long-term shit.
Right? Like, yeah, you might survive the sickness, but it's like, what's to come?
Yeah, I didn't want you hear the people like the myocarditis, you hear their heart rate, and they just lose all of their like cardiovascular health. And you're just like, I hear that and I'm like, no, I don't want that. I'm sorry. I want to be able to go up a flight of stairs without my heart rate jumping to 140. It's going to jump. I know that because that's just how physiology works, but I don't want it to jump stupid rapidly fast. And I get to the top and I'm like, I want to just be slightly out of breath.
It's wild. It's wild.
It is.
It's wild. But, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, somebody's. Anyways, yeah, so we're kind of, we have maybe enough time to do what we originally planned for today. If you, well, maybe not, we might not have this in the title. We probably will, but
Mark will. He's a good guy. He's the one who does it.
Yeah, but we have a story that we're going to read because we're prepping everyone for Glacier National Park because we're going to be there.
We're going to go hard. So
Yeah.
that's the
So
problem is you got to get you ready.
yeah, we want you, the Wanderers, to be ready as well. So we got a story. It comes from the Library of Ranger Zach. So why don't you take it away?
All right, story time. I guess we learned I can read. I'm going to let Mark choose. I have two kind of picked out, but I think we only got time for one today. This comes from the book It Happened in Glacier National Park by Vince Moravec. Fascinating stories about the thrilling events that helped make Glacier National Park what it is today, including the little known episodes that shaped the park's colorful history. I'm going to ask, do you want the Highway to the Sky story? So we can really learn about the Going to Sun Road that you don't like that it's falsely named, or the giant grizzly of Gunsight Pass.
Let's do the Going to Sun Road one because again, we're not going to get to the sun. So
All right, Mark Hustlifer, historian. Here's the first quote right here, 1933. He says, "Highway to the Sky. There's no road anywhere that is quite like the Sun Road. There are things up there that you just aren't going to find anywhere else." Ooh, chills. And then this way, Tony Cook, first time going to Sun Visitor. Ready? It's a long way down. I thought you'd like that one.
he's not right or wrong. He's not wrong.
He's
Tony-
not right.
Yeah, he's not right. Tony is not wrong. It's a long way down.
All right. It was 1933, and no one could believe his or her eyes. It didn't seem possible that 5,000 people were milling around Logan Pass. It certainly didn't seem possible to the local American Indians present. They had their ancestors traveling through the area for centuries and had always referred to the high mountains now called Glacier National Park as the backbone of the world, honoring its rugged, high, and impassable nature. Even the national and state politicians who had gathered at the pass, including Montana Governor Frank Cooney and U.S. Senators Burton Wheeler and W.A. Buchanan, were amazed. They had been influential in securing congressional funding for the construction of the road through Glacier. But discussing it and seeing it were two different matters. But perhaps no one was more pleased or amazed than Duncan MacDonald, the pioneer mountain man whom Lake MacDonald was named.
Oh, that's fun.
That's a fucking trivia buster for you.
Yeah, save that one, everybody, for trivia night.
There had been another number of reasons the doubters and naysayers had listed over the years when speaking of the difficulties of building a road across Glacier Park, and yet it was built. The Trans Mountain Highway, which eventually became the amazing Going to Sun Road, had an unimpressive beginning. The first builders, who punched a few miles of ruts from Belton, West Glacier, to Apgar near Lake McDonald, probably had no idea what they were setting off. It certainly wouldn't have felt to them like they were beginning a road that would climb 6,646 feet above sea level. After all, they were stuck in the low forest and swampland, spending their days cutting hemlocks and red cedars and dynamiting stumps. William R. Logan, the first superintendent of the park and the man for whom the high pass where the road crests its named, estimated that the crew spent at least $1,000 on dynamite just to blow up the stumps in the first 2.5 miles they built. Nevertheless, their start proved that roads could travel up into Glacier's towering mountains. Most people knew that a road penetrating at least some of the west side of the park would be built, but could the same road continue over the Continental Divide? Interesting stuff.
Spoiler, it can.
It could, and it does. From designing and construction standpoint, also to anyone driving on it, the 52 miles of road called Going to Sun are a priceless marvel. A trip to Glacier is not complete without a drive along the famous wonder. This invigorating route, sometimes virtually climbing the sides of sheer mountain walls, gained its original Trans-Mountain Highway name from the mere practical description. Once Congress authorized funding for the road in 1921 to the tune of $100,000, park officials decided they needed a name with a little more zing. But it wasn't called. But it wasn't until the early 1930s that Montana Congressman Lewis Crampton proposed going to the Sun Road after a grand east side mountain near Logan Pass. The name gained popularity. Superintendent J.R. Yakin became a proponent, liking the name that gave the impression of driving up to the extreme heights and sublime panoramas. It also fit with local legend. Among the Blackfeet, tales were told of a benevolent spirit who comes out of the sky to help out in times of trouble, only to ascend back up toward the sun once his task is completed. The traditional Blackfeet name for the mountain is the face of the sour spirit who went back to the sun after his work was done. Unsurprisingly, it was shortened to going to the sun. You fucker. It's an Indian name.
You never reach the sun.
No, because it's about the spirit who comes from the sun, who heals those in Glacier who need it.
Yeah, we never get to the sun.
It took almost 20 years and $3 million to plan and build the road. Crews began work on the road and from the west side early in the park's life, but it wasn't until 1921 that a continuous effort was made to build the road across the Continental Divide. At present, it can only be imagined that when they thought as they looked up at Logan Pass and their simple hand tools and pondered the amazing construction project before them, and yet they were successful. The west side of Going to the Sun Road opened in June 1929. 4 years later, on July 15th, 1933, the east side was completed, and the road was officially dedicated. Of the estimated 5,000 people who attended the dedication ceremony at Logan Pass, two of the important local American Indian tribe members were Kootenai Chief Kusta, Kusata, Kasata, and Blackfeet Chief Two Guns White Calf, as well as Flathead leaders. These former adversaries blessed the road and smoked a peace pipe together to celebrate their modern harmony. Before anyone could gather to celebrate, work crews had toiled and sweated for years. All workers had to have confidence and daring. And there were such great stretches where a path had to be blasted out of solid rock. Dynamite crews were lowered down precipitous cliffs to drill sets of holes into the rock face to house explosives for detonation. In Rose Hook's book, Going to the Sun Road, the story of the highway across Glacier Park, Frank A. Kittredge, a Bureau of Public Roads engineer who led surveying crew in 1924, reports that it was difficult to keep crews fully staffed. The daily climb of from 1,200 feet to 3,000 foot over cliffs and through brush proved to be strenuous for many. Work on the line along the steep mountainside and cliffs proved too hazardous for those not adapted to such work. Working in the rain, sleet was beyond endurance for many more. Despite the high dropout rate, the road did slowly emerge. Kittredge's surveying crew recommended a route over Logan's Pass because of its south and west exposures. This meant, of course, that the road would be in the sunlight and not underneath the shadows of the surrounding peaks. As much as possible in an area where snowfalls are extremely deep, this was an important consideration. Oh, shit.
That is. And I have to unfortunately be that guy. We are not going to be able to finish this story. We're going to leave a cliffhanger to maybe get you to buy the book.
But no, it's not bad. That's not bad. Because there's some stories here.
But anyways, it is time for our final words. And so that being said, final words, my guy.
Well, I want to give the Reverend good thank you for letting me read It Happened in Glacier National Park as we get excited for our glacier trip this summer. And as he learns that the Going to Sun Road is named after a spirit who heals those who come into the park with troubles and goes back up into the sun. But us Americans, we like to shorten things, you got all these names like FDA, Federal Drug Administration, gotta have all these analogies and these little titles. But no, it's good. We love it. go out, read a book, go learn something about one of your national parks. I'm sure there's a book on, Congaree National Park, on the Everglades, on White Sands. Go pick it up and learn something. All right, Reverend, I'll pass the torch on over to you.
Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for sticking it through. Special shout out to any of the Bristol Bay commercial fishermen. The season's about to start, so hopefully it's a good season for you. Hopefully it's a safe season for you. You can catch a lot of fish and get that red gold. Other than that, go outside, stay beautiful, and the Going to Sun Road does not get actually to the sun. But with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.